I'm here today to talk about the HubSpot inbound updates. And we're more likely to call that highlights because, as I said to the girls earlier, our devs have been working really hard, which has made my job today very difficult in trying to condense some of the updates for you. But I've done my best work, and hopefully I've just picked out some of the ones that might be able to help your day-to-day a little bit more. And of course, I'm going to be you can follow up with me and ask any questions afterwards. So let me just click on here. So a little bit about myself. I'm Rachel Ahearne. I'm a principal channel consultant at Hubspot, which means I look after our top agencies. And of course, Digital 22 are one of those agencies. I've been at HubSpot 5 years, so a bit of a veteran at this stage. And I like to say I'm managing our top partners, but I'm being managed myself by a 4-year-old. I have a little boy called Jack. So something about me outside of work, and he certainly is the boss in this household. And is already quite familiar with HubSpot. He might be one of the youngest people to have a good knowledge of HubSpot already. Just before we kick off, please connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I know sometimes people say you can ask me questions afterwards. Really feel free to drop me an email if you have some important questions or something you want to deep dive into. I'm more than happy for you to book some time in my diary as well if there's something you really want to talk about. So don't be a stranger. That's a real open invite. And then we're going to kick off into our inbound highlights. So inbound's always the most exciting time of year, and this year was no exception. We did have to adapt to the in-person event, or away from the in-person event, just like we're doing for this hug today. But actually, we just got wonderful feedback. A lot of people didn't mind not having to travel away from their families, and we got great feedback on the content. But as I said, I didn't realize the extent of our updates until trying to fit that into 25 minutes. So today I'll do my best, but what I will do is give you a full summary. There's a deck, it's about 120 slides long. It has everything in it. So I'll be following up with everyone to pass out that information. So if you want to do a deep dive, you can. But today I want to kick off really looking at our CRM first, because that's the core of everything. So before we dive into those features, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the CRM. Sorry, I'm just going to move this over here. And today, our most disruptive companies are winning on customer experience. And the CRM is really at the center of it all. So we can't dive into these features without talking about that. And some of our competitors have been in the CRM space a long time. When they developed their products, they often did so by acquiring, let's say, a marketing automation company, for example. And in a sense, it looks like they have it all. But in practice, it turned out not to be so great. And it's what we at HubSpot call Franken systems, which you'll guess from this really cool image somebody created for us. Many customers are now left with these Franken systems and forced to kind of cobble things together to accomplish what should be really a set of core experiences. So why are these systems so bad? Well, CRM companies are layering upon layering of features and tools without a long-term vision. And the consequence of this layering is really introducing complexity. And complexity is not good when we're dealing with software, and especially not when we're dealing with the sales or marketing process. So more than a third of CRM implementation projects actually fail. That's a really scary statistic. And more than 50% of sales leaders say their CRM is really difficult to use. One of the quotes I actually really like on this slide here is built for the budget holders, but they forgot about their day-to-day users. And I think maybe some people can relate to that. We're making decisions about budget, but actually not thinking about what it's like in the day-to-day. And that has huge implications. There's no point spending all this money if your team aren't actually using it. So what we're talking about here, and why I'm telling you this today, is that you don't have to tolerate those trade-offs. In 2020, you no longer have to choose between what's powerful and what's easy to use. You can have both. And this is where HubSpot is different, and specifically the Sales Hub as well. We think powerful versus easy to use is a false choice. So we want to look at some of the new features now in the Sales Hub. And one of the thoughts that I had actually when Caroline was speaking was, she did an amazing, incredible job earlier talking about, being authentic, really, bringing yourself to the sales process. But one of the ways that we can enable our salespeople to actually focus on what matters is by giving them time back, right? Because they have the time to start thinking about, how am I really going to connect, with this prospect? Because they're not swamped trying to learn complex CRM systems. They're actually able to effectively manage their day-to-day. So here I'm going to go through a couple of examples of how to give that time back to your sales team so they can focus on what matters. And first we'll start with AI, right? Because anything that's going to happen in an automated way, an intuitive way, is going to save time. And we've always kind of doubled down on artificial intelligence here at HubSpot. But here's a couple of really cool new features that I think will save your team some time. And even if you're not working in sales and you're working in marketing, I think it's really good to have this insight into the day-to-day of sales reps. So AI is using to automatically populate your CRM with important data. So it scans your prospect's email signature and pulls in the relevant information like name, job title, company, even their LinkedIn profile, and pulls that into the CRM record. So we're estimating that this feature alone could save reps up to an hour of time per week, and then using that time to actually close deals. So just getting rid of all of that manual tasks that are just not time efficient for your reps. This is a feature that I talked to Caroline about earlier, asking her if she'd seen this, the Today View, which if you're an organizational nerd like myself, this is pretty exciting. So reps and probably a lot of marketing people as well are working from their inboxes, CRM, jumping from calendar, spreadsheets, notebooks. I know that was my life before HubSpot built their own tool for customer success, which I use, which is very similar to the UX of this particular view. So what we've done for sales reps here is trying to manage everything in one all-in-one tab, rather than jumping across from everywhere, so that they can actually execute their sales activities and hit their goals. So what this is a personalized command center. It's the first thing your sales reps log into in the day and use throughout the whole day, all in one simple tab. And so this is just a great way to execute sales activities. And next up, we want to look at one of our most requested tools. I've been working at HubSpot 5 years, and I've certainly heard a lot of questions around, configure, price, and quote tools. Something a lot of businesses need. This is going to help reps close deals faster. So we've enhanced features in the Sales Hub by making quotes features more customizable. So we'll start off here with proposals. So what we're doing is making improvements here to allow you to tap into Design Manager. Anyone familiar with our CRM or CMS will know all about Design Manager, to create more customizable on-brand proposals. So we get a lot of feedback. Some of what we had previously was very HubSpot branded, very HubSpot focused. People need that flexibility to be able to customize proposals so it's aligned to their own brand and just more relatable. So you can create your own, or you can select from a box of templates to get that set up relatively quickly. And I think certainly marketers and myself would know, when you're starting to put anything together design wise and you're not actually a designer, there's hours upon hours that can actually be just sunk time wise. And so that's really getting rid of that issue. The next thing I want to talk about was our new accounting integrations. So this is another really sought after feature. So we're delighted to see this announced at Inbound 2020. We have an all accounting extension and integration to help you turn quotes into cash faster and more efficiently. There's new integrations with NetSuite, QuickBooks Online, Newbox, and this is going to allow you to use your already existing favorite accounting software directly in HubSpot. We pride ourselves on being an all-in-one platform. yeah, we were having people jumping from different systems. And as someone who's jumped from a lot of different systems in the past, before we really aligned everything at HubSpot, I know the pain of that. So I understand why we were getting, so many requests for this. And now what we are able to do directly in HubSpot is generate invoices, associate tax codes, and sync currencies. So just making that whole sales process from end to end just more efficient, and eliminating that friction with your closing process. So that's available now, and it's available to all HubSpot users. And as I go through this, and as you come through the deck as well, just take note of that little square at the side, usually in the middle. That will say whether or not this feature is available for all users or a particular hub. So don't want you getting too excited if there are any enterprise features, but I've done my best today to give a good variety. So we're not just focusing on everything that's like only available in enterprise. There's a nice mix across all the hubs here today. But keep an eye out for that feature, for that box there, which will show where this is actually available. Okay, so now we're moving on to sales analytics, sales reporting. We often have a lot of reports for sales managers in terms of like what's going on with meetings, what's going on in terms of revenue. But now we're giving really rich insights into the overall health of the sales pipeline. So this is going to really help coach the team and improve outcomes. So this is available now to Sales Hub Professional and Enterprise customers, and they can access over 20 powerful reports, like here on the first image, and the deal funnel report, to really understand the efficiency of your sales funnel. And another report here, which I'm pretty excited about, we do a lot of forecasting ourselves in HubSpot. There's a new forecasting app that collects input from your sales reps. So our sales managers in HubSpot are using this. This has absolutely changed their world. And we envision the same is going to happen for our Sales Hub users. They're going to be able to generate more accurate, up-to-date sales forecasts. And you'll also be able to see the goal attainment of reps within your sales teams. So it's really demystifying a huge amount of what's been going on with sales reps. And if you can imagine the amount of meetings that have to go on between sales managers and reps, what's happening with this deal, all of these questions, like wasting valuable time that you could be spending on your actual job. All of those conversations are just now available in these reports. And so it's just going to just help the sales teams become more efficient, and giving sales managers and sales leaders a really good overview of what's happening with their team. Another one here that I think is a really important one, and why I pulled it out today, is the deal change history over time. I know myself working in HubSpot, there's a lot of what's happening here, what happened there. You're giving a lot of context, and now you're able to really jump in on that with your team. You want to see up to the minute feed of change of deals in your pipeline. Particularly, I think today is Wednesday, the 30th of September, so we're end of month, right? So in the last couple of days, we want our sales leaders to be able to hone in on any changes really quickly, so that they can talk to their reps about that. So things like when new deals were created, close dates that were pushed out, changes made to deal amounts, and deals that have regressed to earlier pipeline stages. These are all things that happen every single month, but we really need to hone in on those and be able to have those conversations with the reps. So those are some great updates that we've had to our Sales Hub, and there have been many, many more, but I just wanted to give you a quick look there. And now for all you marketers out there, I wanted to switch gears and talk a little bit about marketing. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually not a product update, but a pricing update, which is just as exciting to some people. And at Inbound, we've introduced what is called marketing contacts, or marketable contacts. So before I explain how marketing contacts work, let's start with the problem that we were actually aiming to solve. And our customers had three major ones, but maybe several others, because marketing contacts has been quite a friction point. So for anyone who's not familiar with this, The way it works is, the HubSpot CRM, you're allowed to hold free, unlimited contacts up to 1 million, right? And you're happy and you're working away and you're using your CRM, and maybe you're thinking about moving to marketing products. However, when you go and you move to marketing, you're charged for all of your marketing contacts. And as you know, contacts are not created equal. You might want to keep people in your CRM for one reason or another, but you don't actually want to market to them. You're not going to email them. You're not speaking to them. And this is a real friction point when you're going to move to the marketing platform, because it's almost seeming like there's a platform tax. I've been happy with the CRM, and now I just can't afford to move to the marketing product. So maybe I'm going to have to keep my, some of my data in another CRM. This is going to be really messy, and it defeats the entire purpose of what HubSpot's claiming to do, which is having everything on one platform and making your life easier. So, when you're getting these bills for contacts that you're not using, really doesn't feel very HubSpotty, as a lot of people would say. And certainly it's been my least favorite, pricing structure at HubSpot personally, because I really, felt for a lot of customers who had this argument, which is entirely reasonable. So finally, this is great. We've made this change. And for anyone who doesn't know, we actually have a voice of the customer team in HubSpot who is watching out for all these friction points and fighting your corner and working with product and working with our flywheel teams to make this change. They did an excellent job. And on the 21st of October, we will have marketable contacts, which a new pricing model, which will only charge you for the contacts that you actually want to market to. So you can now store that 1 million if you feel like it, and maybe you're only going to pay for 1,000 or 5,000 contacts that you're actually marketing to, allowing you to move to the marketing product, not to be taxed, or charging fees for the contacts that you need for visibility. So this is great. I'm absolutely thrilled with this change. And for any of you that maybe aren't using the Marketing Hub because of this and have been held back, feel free to email me if you have any questions. I have been all in on marketing contacts for the last month, so I feel like I can answer all your questions on it. So feel free to drop it into the chat or email me on that if needs be. Now, I've been doing a lot of talking and I'm trying my best. We've got about 10 minutes left. But as I'm going through this, I thought we'd do a little competition to make things a bit fun, because this is heavy, heavy stuff and a lot of information. So my question for competition time is, how many contacts can you store in the HubSpot CRM? Little hint, I just mentioned it earlier. You can email your answer to emily.yates@digital22.com. And maybe, Emily, you can drop your email in the chat pane as I move on. And we'll be announcing the winner at the end of the presentation. If you're a HubSpot customer, I can send you HubSpot swag. If you're not a HubSpot customer, the world is your oyster. Let me know what you want. We'll try our best to make it happen within reason. So just a little something to perk you guys up as you're going through these heavy updates. So drop your answer to Emily there. Okay, perfect. So now, after our little break of good news, I want to drop into the Marketing Hub, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of marketers here on the call. So first off, I want to just jump into what we already announced this year. So there were some big launches ahead of Inbound this year, which is exciting. My personal favorite, ABM, account-based marketing, was launched in January with multi-touch revenue attribution reporting and team management. And today I'm going to hone in on some of the updates from Inbound that related to automation. If any of you are working with our workflows, you will know that they are brilliant. And we've got some new features where you can now export workflows visually. But there's a few things that could be done better. And we've listened and we've done a big overhaul of workflows. So now you can automate more tasks in a contact workflow than you could before. We can start triggering Slack notifications and updating CRM properties when a new lead is created or a change of stage. And you might be in the situation where you've actually had to create two separate workflows, a contact workflow and a deal workflow. And now you will be able to do the same in the one workflow, saving you loads of time. And this is live in the Marketing Hub professional. Next thing, quick update. There is an advanced delay in workflows. You might have noticed sometimes you're able to create delays or only execute on weekdays. But now you can get really specific. You can decide on the day and the time. So this is where your persona work comes in pretty handy. So if you know your audience, you're going to know the right time for when they're going to receive these emails or notifications. Moving along to the final part of automation, and before we dig into the highlight of the presentation, which will be custom objects, I wanted to just talk about the new workflows editor. So for anyone who's not familiar with workflows, this is going to be a little bit complex, so bear with me. So I will pass this on to you guys in the deck, and you can drill into it a little bit more with some links. But for those of you who are familiar with workflows, you will know that the if-then branching conditions had to be built one at a time, and making branched workflows really complicated to create. And we've redesigned our contact workflows editor to make it easier to maintain complex campaigns. So you can now clone part of a workflow and use go to actions to connect multiple branches to the same step within the workflow. So sorry for anyone who's not familiar with workflows, that might not make any sense, but anyone who is familiar with complex workflows, this is a pretty exciting update, although it doesn't particularly sound like it. And again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions on that. Now, try to get as much in as possible. I think we're going to have to skip Service Hub at this stage. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about CRM-powered marketing. And it's funny because, this is the first presentation I've done where I'm really noticing that although we've section sales and marketing away from each other, everything is overlapping so much. And I think we're, in a year or two, we're going to probably not even have these sectioned off as much because they're just becoming all one. So really, to compete in this new world, especially when so many people are buying online even more now, and reps are off the road, you really also need to evolve your marketing, your inbound marketing, collect the right data in your CRM and leverage it to fuel every aspect of your marketing. Because we're all competing online now. Competition just got that much more difficult. And CRM-powered marketing comes to life across almost all products in Marketing Hub. But let's start with what's new and what's exciting, which is custom objects and how you can use it. So for anyone who's not familiar, custom objects is like the rock star of product updates. Probably the most exciting one we've had in 5 years at HubSpot. Certainly, if we're talking about what's been asked for the most, custom objects has been it. So with custom objects, it really means that you can store almost any data in HubSpot. Not just deals or contacts or companies, but you're starting to look at things as well, like SaaS subscriptions and shipments. For example, if you're a real estate agent, you can now store your listings in HubSpot. Previously, that just wasn't possible, or we had ways where people could hack the system to try to make this work, but it just wasn't intuitive to the platform. And now it is, which will allow you to do things like reporting, which you couldn't do previously. So custom objects, to demystify them, they work just like standard objects, like contacts and companies objects. You can easily create and manage them and set them up in workflows and run reports on custom object data. And you have to define these custom objects via an API. So you need to have an in-house developer or a HubSpot partner to get started. This isn't something you can just launch into because it's quite a complicated system, and you really need to make sure all your data is put in there by the right person so that all your reports are working right. And you also need to determine if you really need custom objects. And again, you can reach out to me or anyone at Digital 22 to help you go through that kind of branching logic to determine, do you actually in fact need custom objects? And once you've defined them, you've understood that they're really needed, you can then create custom object records, view your custom object records in a table, and filter those records based on their property values. So again, this is really exciting. This is something that other CRM systems, maybe enterprise systems, have had in the past. Some of our competitors, we're asked for it daily. I'm sure, Caroline, you're delighted to see this. You've been probably asked for this many times. Finally, it's here, so we're all pretty excited. I'm going to just quickly go into the custom report builder, and then I'll do a quick summary, because I think unfortunately we're going to have to skip Service Hub today. But I'm going to leave you with I suppose I'm leaving you with their two most exciting updates: custom objects and our new custom report builder. I've certainly heard a lot that, our out of the box reporting wasn't really cutting it for many customers. And I myself am working with customers daily, trying to scramble all of their data together to get a really good overview, to, consult them, help them gain more ROI, just digging into those insights. So that's why I'm really excited to see this new custom report builder, because instead of kind of jumping from our dashboards, and then you have to look individually into landing pages and emails, and it can be quite complex, and it can be quite overwhelming for new users as well. Now you can access all your contact company deals alongside your marketing. So we're not just sectioning off marketing and sales. Like I said, things are starting to really come together, because that's how we're working nowadays. So you can start to see all of these deals alongside your marketing, and that's really going to help you as a marketer be able to determine, what are we going to do in 2021? What have we seen from this year through our sales and our marketing? What key insights can we grab from that? It's all in one place. It's much easier to really evaluate that and drill into it. So great streamlined way to answer some of your key questions. And I'm happy, because it also helps my job when I'm going into my own partner's work and seeing how they're doing with their marketing. So I'm going to just quickly, I'll let you know there is some Service Hub stuff in here, but I don't think we have time to rush through it just yet. So I'm just going to go through our updates at a glance. So as I said, all hubs, we have custom objects, but that is an enterprise feature. We have our pricing updates for marketing contacts, which really takes away a huge roadblock for incoming customers, and also really helpful and a nice treat for our customers, existing customers. Then in the Marketing Hub, we've definitely seen much better automation, like CRM-powered marketing, and much more powerful reporting. In sales, we've got our enterprise-grade CRM, AI-powered sales. We've got our CPQ tools, which are really helping our sales team end to end, and some streamlined reporting for our sales leaders. And you can take a look at some of those updates on Service Hub. And unfortunately, we didn't have any time for the CMS today, but we didn't announce anything new at HubSpot. The CMS was launched earlier this year. And again, if you have any questions on it, feel free to reach out to me. So that's it. We got in as much as we could today. I hope I didn't rush through anything too much for everyone. As I said, it was quite an experience to get all of that in 20 minutes. So I really thank you for joining me today, and I hope you've taken something away from that session.